Pam Bondi stands at the center of a storm as the current United States Attorney General, a role that carries immense responsibility and scrutiny. With an impressive background in law, Bondi's journey to this high office began in her home state of Florida, where she served as the Attorney General from 2011 until 2019. Her tenure there showcased her commitment to fighting public corruption and protecting consumers, earning her a reputation as a tenacious advocate for justice. Bondi's legal prowess was further evidenced during her time as a prosecutor, where she built a track record of resilience and determination in the courtroom. As she ascended to national prominence, Bondi cultivated a public persona that emphasized her intelligence and skill. She often spoke passionately about public service, crime prevention, and the importance of law enforcement, winning the respect of many within her party and beyond. However, with the recent allegations against her involving stolen jewelry, this carefully constructed image faces an unprecedented challenge. The case has captivated media attention, with sensational headlines emphasizing the contrast between her high-profile position and the serious nature of the claims. Critics are eager to diminish her accomplishments by framing the narrative around scandal rather than competence. What began as an accusation from a jeweler claiming Bondi took valuable pieces without consent quickly spiraled into a fierce legal battle that has implications beyond just personal reputation. As she steps into the courtroom, it's clear that Bondi is not merely confronting accusations. She's facing a struggle against bias and skepticism fueled by preconceived notions about women in powerful roles. The judge presiding over her case appears to have already taken sides, displaying overt favoritism toward the jeweler's narrative, raising doubts about fair adjudication. Yet even in the face of hostility and doubt, Bondi prepares to demonstrate that she is more than just a public figure subject to gossip. She possesses formidable legal skills capable of dismantling an unjust case against her. In this moment of crisis, she understands that not only is her career on the line but also the very principles of justice and fairness that she has dedicated herself to uphold throughout her career. The stakes have never been higher as she readies herself for battle in a courtroom filled with both supporters and detractors alike. The allegations against Pam Bondi have sent shockwaves through both the legal community and the public, creating a media frenzy that quickly escalated beyond mere gossip. The claim originates from a jeweler named Kane, a well-known figure in the luxury jewelry market, who alleges that Bondi stole 3 valuable pieces from his collection during a private viewing event held at his upscale boutique. According to Kane, these items included a diamond-studded bracelet, a rare pearl necklace, and a statement ring adorned with sapphires, pieces valued at over $300,000. Kane's accusations came to light after he reported the theft to local authorities, prompting an investigation that quickly drew national attention due to Bondi's high-profile position as Attorney General. In his account, Kane describes the incident in detail, stating that Bondi had shown keen interest in the jewelry while making remarks about their significance and craftsmanship. He claimed she left the venue abruptly with the items still unaccounted for, raising suspicions that would soon erupt into a full-blown scandal. Public reaction has been polarizing, reflecting deep divisions regarding Bondi's character and competence. Supporters of Bondi question Kane's motives, suggesting that the jeweler may be seeking publicity or trying to undermine her credibility amid an ongoing career in politics. They argue that the timing of the allegations is suspicious, especially given her prominence in law enforcement circles. Conversely, critics have seized upon the accusations as evidence of a broader culture of entitlement among powerful individuals. Social media platforms buzzed with mixed reactions. Some users expressed disbelief over Bondi's alleged actions, while others expressed outrage at what they perceive as a blatant disregard for ethical standards. As the controversy rages on, it becomes clear that this case transcends personal grievances. It raises significant questions about integrity, power dynamics, and the accountability of public figures. With each new development in the story, the stakes rise higher not just for Bondi but for the public trust in those who hold positions of authority. The legal battle ahead promises to reveal much about both Bondi's character and the societal perceptions surrounding women in power. As the preliminary hearings begin, the atmosphere in the courtroom is charged with tension, reflecting the weight of the case against Pam Bondi. The judge overseeing the proceedings, Judge Elena Harris, is a seasoned jurist known for her no-nonsense approach. However, her actions throughout the hearing raise eyebrows about her impartiality. From the outset, it's apparent that Judge Harris has formed a preference for the jeweler's narrative, favoring his testimony and demonstrating a lack of patience for Bondi's legal team. During witness testimonies, Judge Harris often interrupts Bondi's attorneys with pointed questions directed at them rather than allowing them to establish their case. Her tone carries an undercurrent of skepticism whenever they attempt to challenge Kane's claims or present counterarguments. At one point, when defense counsel tries to bring up discrepancies in Kane's account, Judge Harris swiftly dismisses the line of questioning, insisting that the focus should remain on the jeweler's version of events. This selective engagement leads to an escalating sense of frustration among Bondi's legal representatives, who struggle to maintain their composure in the face of such overt bias. Additionally, there are moments when Judge Harris appears almost sympathetic toward Kane. She nods while he speaks and permits him extended time to elaborate on his alleged experiences, time that Bondi's team desperately needs to present their defense. The contrast is stark when Bondi herself is given scant opportunity to speak, her requests for clarification met with curt responses that undermine her position. Observers in the courtroom note that the judge's demeanor seems to imply a presumption of guilt rather than a commitment to exploring the truth. The media coverage adds fuel to this already fiery environment, with reports highlighting Judge Harris's apparent favoritism as a potential conflict of interest. This scrutiny only intensifies the public narrative around Bondi, further complicating her quest for justice. As the hearings progress, it becomes increasingly crucial for Bondi to navigate this biased landscape effectively. She understands that gaining the judge's respect will be a formidable task, but she is determined to not only stand her ground but also showcase her capabilities as a legal professional. The road ahead may be rocky, but Bondi knows that establishing her presence and skill in court could ultimately turn the tide in her favor. As the hearings unfold, Pam Bondi finds herself grappling with a series of emotional and professional challenges that threaten to overwhelm her. The weight of the allegations hanging over her head is compounded by the judge's apparent bias, which makes it difficult for her legal team to gain traction in the courtroom. Each interruption from Judge Harris feels like an additional blow, eroding Bondi's confidence and amplifying the sense that the deck is stacked against her. In those early moments, Bondi's demeanor reflects the internal struggle she faces. She exudes a mixture of determination and vulnerability that does not go unnoticed by observers. The pressure to maintain her composure becomes palpable as she realizes how crucial these proceedings are, not just for her legal standing but for her reputation as a public figure. Media cameras capture every moment of uncertainty, intensifying her anxiety and making it hard to focus on crafting a coherent defense strategy. Despite her extensive background in law, Bondi experiences a profound sense of isolation when the judge seems disinterested in her attempts to present evidence. A seasoned attorney, she understands the legal process intimately, yet she feels trapped in a situation where her expertise is minimized. Each time she attempts to articulate her defense, she is met with the judge's dismissive tone or curbed questions that undermine her credibility. This dynamic fuels a growing frustration that manifests as hesitance in her speech and occasional lapses in eye contact with the courtroom audience. Outside the courtroom, public scrutiny looms large as social media platforms and news outlets amplify commentary on her situation. Supporters rally behind her, underscoring her contributions to justice and public service, but dissenters seize upon the allegations with glee, questioning whether a powerful woman can truly be innocent in a privilege-infused scandal. This divisive public sentiment seeps into Bondi's psyche. She begins to question her instincts, and whether the legal community will still stand by her as the pressure mounts. Yet amid this turmoil, Bondi resolves to channel her discomfort into determination. Recognizing that to regain control she must take decisive action, she starts refining her arguments and strategizing ways to circumvent Judge Harris's biases. A flicker of resolve ignites within her as she prepares to demonstrate that she is not merely relying on appearances. She has the skills and knowledge necessary to dismantle the challenges put before her. The journey ahead remains daunting, but Bondi understands that claiming her ground is essential not only for herself but also for all women navigating similar battles for respect in male-dominated fields. Determined to counter the bias she faces in court, Pam Bondi devises a meticulous legal strategy aimed at dismantling the allegations against her and reclaiming her narrative. Understanding that the judge's favoritism toward the jeweler could undermine her defense, Bondi focuses on building a compelling case grounded in evidence and context. Her first step involves comprehensive research into similar cases of alleged theft, particularly those involving high-profile individuals. Bondi's legal team dives deep into precedents that highlight instances where accusations were based on circumstantial evidence, seeking to draw parallels to her situation. This groundwork helps them construct an argument that emphasizes the importance of scrutinizing the motives behind such allegations. Bondi also prioritizes gathering evidence that can support her claim of innocence. In addition to reviewing surveillance footage from the jewelry store during the private viewing event, she requests records of communications between Kane and his associates, aiming to uncover any inconsistencies or ulterior motives in his statements. Her team meticulously combs through receipts and transaction logs to verify her whereabouts during critical moments connected to the alleged theft, hoping to bolster their defense with clear documentation. Crucially, Bondi identifies potential witnesses who can vouch for her character and integrity. She enlists former colleagues from her time as Florida Attorney General, individuals who can attest to her dedication to justice and ethical conduct in both personal and professional spheres. Additionally, she seeks out clients and acquaintances who can testify about her interactions with Kane and affirm that she never exhibited any intent or behavior consistent with theft. Throughout this process, Bondi remains acutely aware of the courtroom dynamics shaped by Judge Harris's biases. She prepares her attorneys not only to present legal arguments but also to frame their inquiries in ways that might appeal to a more neutral perspective. By strategically guiding witness testimonies towards themes of integrity and trustworthiness, Bondi aims for moments that will resonate with both the judge's sensibilities and public opinion. As the date of the next hearing approaches, Bondi stands resolute, understanding that every piece of evidence gathered and every witness called serves as a step toward overcoming not only these allegations but also the pervasive stereotypes surrounding women in positions of power. She is determined to demonstrate that she is not just a public figure caught in controversy. She is a capable legal advocate prepared to fight for justice, both for herself and for those who face similar challenges in their pursuit of respect within male-dominated arenas. The turning point in Pam Bondi's legal battle arrives unexpectedly during one of the court sessions when she seizes the opportune moment to shift the tide in her favor. The atmosphere in the courtroom is thick with anticipation as Judge Elena Harris engages in yet another contentious exchange with Bondi's legal team. However, this time, Bondi prepares to take center stage. With her mind sharpened by weeks of preparation, Bondi rises from her seat, commanding the attention of everyone present. As she approaches the jury, a confident resolve emanates from her demeanor. "Your Honor," she begins, her voice steady and clear, "I would like to address some critical inconsistencies that have arisen in Mr. Kane's account." The moment resonates throughout the room as spectators lean in, sensing a shift in momentum. Displaying a keen grasp of the court proceedings and persuasive argumentation, Bondi proceeds to introduce surveillance footage from the jewelry store that captures not only her presence but also Kane's behavior during the private viewing. As she plays the video for the court, it becomes evident that Kane had engaged her in conversations about various jewelry pieces, displaying no signs of distress or suspicion. Instead of focusing solely on his alleged claims, she highlights moments where Kane appears quite amicable and even encouraging. Following this pivotal presentation, Bondi transitions into meticulously detailing recent findings from communications records that were gathered prior to this session. She unveils text messages exchanged between Kane and his associates discussing promotional strategies around luxury items, subtle hints implying that he stood to financially benefit from the controversy surrounding their relationship. This revelation captures everyone's attention. Tension fills the air as murmurs ripple through the courtroom. With deft precision, Bondi counters any doubts about her character by calling witnesses who can corroborate her interactions with Kane and vouch for her integrity. Each witness affirms that there was never any indication of intent or malice on Bondi's part during their dealings. As the proceedings continue and debates unfold around these unanticipated revelations, Judge Harris's demeanor subtly shifts. she appears less dismissive and more contemplative about what is being presented before her. In this critical moment, it becomes clear that Pam Bondi's legal acumen, her ability to connect evidence with compelling narratives, has begun to sway opinions inside and outside of the courtroom. This turning point not only showcases Bondi's skills as an attorney but also imbues her narrative with a newfound strength. It serves as a reminder that amidst bias and adversity, resilience fueled by thorough preparation can alter perceptions and potentially redefine one's path towards justice. As Pam Bondi skillfully presents her evidence, the atmosphere in the courtroom begins to shift in subtle but significant ways. Initially, Judge Elena Harris's demeanor had been marked by a clear bias toward the jeweler Marcus Kane, often characterized by a dismissive tone and an inclination to interrupt Bondi's legal team. However, as Bondi lays out her defense with confidence and clarity, signs of change start to manifest in the judge's behavior. Judge Harris, who had previously maintained a stern, unyielding presence, now appears more engaged as she listens intently to Bondi's arguments. The judge's facial expression softens slightly, and her posture, once rigid, reflects a newfound curiosity. As Bondi articulates the discrepancies in Kane's narrative and highlights the contextual evidence from the surveillance footage, the judge leans forward in her seat, signaling an openness to reevaluate her initial assumptions. This shift suggests that Bondi's compelling presentation is beginning to break down the walls of skepticism that had surrounded her case. In a notable moment, when Bondi references the text messages that allude to Kane's motivations for making his allegations, Judge Harris pauses, considering the implications of this new information. Her tone changes as she addresses Bondi directly, asking clarifying questions that reflect a genuine interest in understanding the full scope of the argument being presented. Ms. Bondi, can you elaborate on how these messages relate to the credibility of Mr. Kane's claims? This question signifies a departure from her earlier skepticism. She is now willing to engage with the complexities of the case rather than simply lean on preconceived notions. As Bondi continues to build her case, she notices that Harris begins to address her with a newfound respect rather than condescension. The judge acknowledges Bondi's skills as an attorney beyond her public persona, recognizing the effort and intelligence behind her arguments. The courtroom dynamic has transformed from one of tension and bias to an environment where Bondi's capabilities are appreciated. This evolving relationship between Bondi and Judge Harris serves as a turning point not only for Bondi's defense but also for the broader narrative about women in positions of authority facing unwarranted skepticism. As the judge becomes more receptive to Bondi's arguments, it symbolizes a critical acknowledgement of competence over appearance, and challenges entrenched biases that exist within legal frameworks. In these moments, Bondi's tenacity shines through, affirming that she is, indeed, more than just a public figure. She is a formidable force within the legal arena, ready to combat injustice head-on. As the trial progresses, media coverage and public opinion surrounding Pam Bondi become increasingly significant factors in her legal battle. Initially, the narrative painted her as a powerful figure embroiled in scandal, with headlines focusing on the sensational aspects of the jewelry theft allegations. The portrayal of Bondi in the media often leaned toward framing her as a villainess, someone who used her position to exploit the trust of others, particularly in an environment rife with skepticism about powerful women. However, as Bondi's defense unfolds, a notable shift occurs in both the media's tone and the public's perception. Following her impactful presentation of evidence, including surveillance footage and text messages that challenge the jeweler's credibility, journalists begin to examine the complexities of the case instead of merely perpetuating the initial allegations. Articles that once emphasized scandal now start to explore themes of integrity, competence, and resilience, portraying Bondi as a determined attorney fighting against unjust accusations that threaten her career. Public reactions mirror this changing narrative. Supporters rally behind her, emphasizing her accomplishments in public service and her role as a trailblazer for women in leadership. Social media platforms become battlegrounds for opinions, where critics once dominated conversations. Defenders of Bondi begin to voice their support, arguing that she's being unfairly targeted due to her status and gender. Memes and hashtags emerge, not just about the allegations but also celebrating Bondi's legal prowess and her courage in confronting bias head-on. Amidst this evolving landscape, Bondi skillfully navigates external pressures. She recognizes that public perception can significantly influence courtroom dynamics, especially in a high-stakes trial where appearances matter. With every strategic choice she makes, from presenting compelling evidence to maintaining a composed demeanor under scrutiny, she seeks to align her actions with the narrative she wants to project, one of a capable leader unafraid to combat adversity. As the trial nears its conclusion, the media coverage further reflects this shift. A newfound respect for Bondi's determination emerges. Commentators begin to discuss the issue of gender bias more openly, using her case as a focal point to highlight the challenges faced by women in positions of authority. This evolving discussion reinforces not only Bondi's position in the courtroom but also contributes to a broader dialogue about accountability and equality in the legal system. Through it all, Pam Bondi emerges not merely as a figure caught in controversy, but as an embodiment of resilience and competence, effectively challenging preconceived notions while reshaping public opinion about women leaders within the legal arena. As the trial nears its conclusion, the tension in the courtroom escalates. Both sides present their final arguments, with Pam Bondi's team emphasizing her integrity, the lack of credible evidence against her, and the character flaws of the accuser, Marcus Kane. They argue that Kane's motivations for accusing Bondi stem from a desire for attention and financial gain, rather than any genuine grievance over stolen property. Bondi's attorney passionately rebuts Kane's claims, pointing out inconsistencies in his statements and showcasing how the presented evidence, including surveillance footage, bolsters their narrative of innocent behavior during the alleged theft. The prosecution attempts to reinforce Kane's victimhood, painting him as a reputable jeweler who trusted Bondi and felt betrayed by her actions. They invoke emotional appeals to resonate with the jury and portray a scenario where someone in Bondi's position should have acted with more integrity. As both sides conclude, Judge Elena Harris methodically summarizes key points from each argument before the court adjourns for deliberation. The air is thick with anticipation. Spectators sense that this moment could redefine not only Bondi's career but also public perceptions regarding powerful women facing scrutiny. The media watches closely, with each news outlet fanning the flames of speculation. Analysts dissect every detail about Bondi's performance and Kane's testimony, weighing them against public sentiment. Supporters of Bondi express confidence through social media channels, while critics remain skeptical about her character despite her legal prowess. In an unexpected twist during closing remarks, Bondi herself steps forward to address the court directly. With poise and conviction, she shares her personal stake in this battle, not just as a political figure fighting baseless allegations but as a woman confronting systemic biases that threaten to undermine both her career and larger discussions about women's empowerment. Her heartfelt words resonate within the courtroom and beyond. They encapsulate not only her determination to win this case but also her commitment to advocate for equitable treatment irrespective of gender. After a brief recess to allow for reflection, Judge Harris prepares to issue her ruling. The courtroom waits with bated breath as she enters, and all eyes turn toward her as she takes her seat. While everyone present understands that a verdict will soon be rendered, uncertainty lingers in the air. Will justice prevail in favor of an esteemed public servant, or will the cloud of controversy continue to overshadow her legacy? As the judge raises her gavel, signaling that it's time for the verdict announcement, hearts race in anticipation of what comes next for Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi's legal battle serves as a poignant reflection on the pervasive issue of gender bias in the legal field, highlighting the challenges women face in positions of authority. Throughout the trial, Bondi grapples not only with allegations that threaten her career but also with the skepticism directed at her based on her gender. Her experience underscores an important narrative, that women in leadership roles are often scrutinized through a lens that prioritizes appearance over competence, leading to judgments that may overlook their professional qualifications. In court, Judge Elena Harris's initial bias against Bondi illustrates how preconceived notions can influence judicial proceedings, creating barriers for women who have worked tirelessly to earn their positions. The judge's dismissive attitude toward Bondi's legal team and arguments reflects a broader societal tendency to question the capabilities of women, particularly when they occupy powerful roles. This dynamic reinforces harmful stereotypes that women must constantly battle in their professional lives. However, Bondi's resilience proves to be a vital counterpoint to this bias. By showcasing her legal acumen and determination, she sends a powerful message about the importance of competence and integrity in the face of adversity. As she dismantles Kane's accusations with strategic evidence and compelling arguments, Bondi not only advocates for herself but also challenges the narrative that women are defined by their appearances or personal lives rather than their professional achievements. Her direct address to the court during final arguments serves as a turning point not only for her case but for the broader conversation surrounding gender and leadership. By articulating her personal stake in the trial and linking it to systemic issues of gender bias, Bondi elevates her struggle beyond individual circumstances to encompass the collective challenges faced by women across various fields. Ultimately, Pam Bondi's experience highlights both the hurdles and triumphs encountered by women striving to assert their place within male-dominated arenas. Her story is a reminder that resilience combined with skill can pave the way for change, encouraging future generations of women to challenge biases while confidently asserting their rightful positions in society. As discussions surrounding gender equality continue to evolve, Bondi's journey stands as a testament to the ongoing need for accountability and fairness within legal frameworks, not just for herself but for all who follow in her footsteps.